he had 16 snaps in this game. He had a sack, 2 tackles, a QB hurry, ended up grading out on PFF at 73. And you tell me Colin Snyder didn't make a business decision on that sack? He saw the big fella coming through, and that quarterback said, "Nope, I'm good."
Did you see him beat the lineman on that too?
Oh, dude, nasty.
It was nasty.
All right, Dog fans, before we hop into the show, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and we appreciate the support. Thanks to our sponsor, Simply Seattle, we'll be picking out one lucky new subscriber to win free Washington Huskies t-shirt and hat. To enter, just subscribe, drop a comment below letting us know that you've done it. You can be out there flexing that new Husky drip, that new Husky swag in no time. Plus, don't forget to check out Simply Seattle's QR code at the bottom of the screen, which will take you directly to their website for all your Washington Husky apparel needs. Good luck. Go Dogs. Thank you for everything.
Now, let's take a look at the other side of the ball. Man, Stevie B, his defense has not given up a touchdown in 2 games. Fellas, when we're watching this team, I mean, this is a lot different than defense from last year. Noah, what's standing out to you about the defense that we're watching?
Dude, 7 sacks, baby. That's what's standing out to me, man. 7 freaking sacks. I don't care. I don't care if you're playing, Garfield High School or, the freaking New England Patriots. I mean, you get 7 sacks in a game, dude, you're winning. And, I think we quickly saw that Cole Snyder, that quarterback for Eastern Michigan, he can move a little bit. But, man, we held him to a QBR of 27.8. So our secondary was holding tight. We were putting pressure on him up front. And, man, that pressure up front, so good to have Javon Parker back, man. Dude, he has turned into such. I always say, man, he's a monster. From Space Jam, dude. He's a monster in the middle. And dude, PFF graded him out with a 75 on all rundowns. He had 3 tackles. He got that half a sack, that combo sack with Durfee. And dude, it's just having him back. Dude, he is a 3-down interior defensive lineman. And dude, it's just. He sets the tone for, I think, everybody else, man. He runs to the ball, then you got Bandits running to the ball. He runs to the ball, Valdez runs to the ball. I mean, he just sets the tone. And, man, last thing I want to say on this, too, is, dude, when you look at one of these defensive plays, it was nothing too sexy, but it was at the 3:07 mark in the second quarter. Eastern Michigan opens up their drive with a little bubble screen. Zoe fights off his block. He keeps outside leverage, makes the tackle. But as he's wrestling with the wide receiver to the ground, here comes the whole freaking dog pack, and there ended up being 6 dudes on the tackle. And I think that's the kind of stuff that starts with a Javon Parker. That's the kind of stuff that starts with Bruner and Zoe and all these types of senior-laden, tough-nosed players, man. Pursuing the football, is about toughness and desire. It doesn't take any talent. It takes grit, and you want to be able to support your brother on the field, man. And so it's like seeing that type of play, like I said, nothing crazy about it. But, dude, 6 guys around the ball making a tackle, dude, that's what winning teams do.
It's creating a mind state, and that's infectious throughout the team. And you're right, we do need those guys. Izzo, what about you? Who stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got Zoe, you got Bruner. I thought the interior defensive line, again, created a ton of pressure, and I think we saw that throughout the game. I wanted to call out the performances of 2 players. One is going to be surprising. One's not going to be that surprising. The unsurprising one is going to be Zach Durfee. Coach called it out before the game started.
Monster.
I mean, the Durf. It's so good to see after last year and, all the bad news just compiling on itself with him not being eligible to play and whatnot. And then for him to come out the first game, kind of, you heard Jed talk about it before the game started. It looked like he hadn't played in a while. There were plays where he just showed out and he showed the athleticism, and they talked about him all throughout camp, and we've known about him for a while. Where you would see plays where he would flash, but you would see like just some mistakes that he would make, where you could tell he hadn't played in a while. And then in this game, he kind of put it all together. It seemed like he wasn't over pursuing. He wasn't. Coming out of his gap assignment, he got the 3 sacks, and it was cool. It was awesome to see him flex the 1, 2, 3, and then put it on the jersey. I love that.
It felt like 2020 Zion. You know what I'm saying? It really felt that way.
Yeah, it was like his coming out party in this game. So I'm stoked for him. And then you've got the other player that I wanted to call out, which is Elijah Jackson.
Okay.
And it's not like that he was showing up a ton on tape, but that's exactly the reason why I want to call him out. They only targeted him twice, and they were 0 completions. Their teams were just scheming away from him. It looked like they were more comfortable throwing to the guy that Thaddeus was on. And I think I need to go back and double look just to make sure. I don't know how much safety help Elijah's getting to see if they're doing what we had talked about, where they're double bracketing the wide receiver on one side and trying to get you to throw it to, to your number 2, your number 3 option. But they, even on Thaddeus, they were only 2 of 5 on targets his way. So I just think Elijah poses such an obvious threat to offenses that they scheme away from him entirely. So I was just really, really excited about that just in general. So that's Durfee. The other stat is just that he had 5 pressures and he got sacks on 3. So he's constantly causing problems for the offensive line.
Dude, one thing on Durfee too, we talked about with his he loves that spin move and he's like really good at bull rushing. Did you notice how he got his first sack?
No.
Dude, a filthy swim move. Absolute filthy swim move on the right tackle. And
so he's not leaning on the spin, right?
Dude, he's not leaning on the spin, not leaning on the bull. He actually hit it. And what that goes back to me is like that he's actually listening and learning from his coaches. Mm-hmm. And that's what we talked about earlier too, was like how these coaches are such good teachers, man.
Yeah.
And that's just that. I mean, dude, I saw that and I was like, swim move. It's just so great to see, man.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I enjoyed watching and seeing play a bunch and make plays was Broussard, the safety.
Dude,
sure. He's a guy, and he packs a boom when he hits. He comes with it. All right, fellas, let me ask you this: anyway, if we named kind of the obvious, who else stuck out to you? And no, I'm going to start with you on this one because I actually kind of agree with you on who this guy is. So who stuck out?
Man, you know how we always, you hear everybody talk about like the quarterbacks, right? And everyone's like, man, Will Rogers, he's our dude now, but who's coming through, right? Everyone, Damon Williams. We should be talking about Alenius Davis in that same type of thought process.
100%.
Dude, I'm telling you, ED, dude, he is going to be hard to keep off the field. And when I say that, I'm talking like in that top 3 type, top 4 rotation of these interior defensive linemen. Dude, he had 16 snaps in this game. He had a sack, 2 tackles, a QB hurry, ended up grading out on PFF at 73. And you tell me Colin Snyder didn't make a business decision on that sack? He saw the big fella coming through, and that quarterback said, "Nope, I'm good."
Did you see him beat the lineman on that too?
Oh, dude, nasty.
It was nasty.
Nasty. I mean, with his size, dude, that play I talked about earlier where they were running after the ball, Bandis and him were running after the ball. And when you see him and Bandis running next to each other, dude, Bandis ain't a small dude either. But it just shows you the size of Alenius Davis, man. He's an absolute man-child. And, dude, he's like 19. I mean, dude, he's still redshirt freshman. Dude, he's got more years in this program, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
So in high school as a junior, I got this text just as a reminder. Discus was he had like some all-world discus record or whatever. And he also shot putted 60 feet as a junior.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like, that guy is an athlete, man. He's going to be a problem for a long time to come. That's where that twitch comes from, is from doing the track and field stuff that he's doing. He was like all world there. So it's fantastic.
Okay. Who else stuck out to you though too?
Yeah, I was just going to point this out. Like, so we're talking about interior defensive line. I tweeted out during the game. I was curious as to, there was narrative from Duck fans that the concern for us on defense, one of them was that the interior defensive line wasn't going to be very good. And I used this game as like a kind of a highlight to say like, hey, does everybody still have that concern? Does that narrative still exist? And some fans kind of tweeted back and they were like, yeah, I'm still worried about that first half, like how we looked in filling gap assignments against the run. And here's why I'm really not concerned about it in the long term. I think part of our scheme, and this is going to be reflective on like the second drive, is that we play an attacking style defense where Steve Belichick specializes interior defensive line and edge play and rotates a bunch of guys based on based on the strengths and weaknesses of the offensive line we're playing against. And I think during the first and second drive, it's not going to be, you're going to see where they get some gash plays on scripted plays like this, especially on the ground, because they're trying to identify, we don't have the game flow and the game plan that we have as the game carries on at the beginning to dissect who we're going to bring in to specialize. But it's not lost on me. Like, I think there needs to be some catch-all effectiveness. Like, you got to be able to lean on your Valdez and your Bandis to be able to fill gap assignments against the run. As I look at the depth of the room and the athletes that are there with Javon, with Alinius, with Bandis, with, name whoever, Valdez, the group is too deep to be concerned about long-term into the third quarter, teams continuously gashing us for runs inside the tackles. Yeah. I just think you saw a little bit of them in the first half, Logan, Sagapolu, but I think he is going to be a guy where if you're recognizing, hey, this team is going to run between the tackles a lot, you're going to see a lot more of him in games. And he is the type of dude that can eat up 2 blocks. So I see us not having as big of an issue as the season carries on with clogging up the middle, to be frank.
I agree. And you're right. Kind of like we used MJ Ale last year. I got a question for you guys. Have you ever wanted to walk into Husky Stadium where there's 70,000 people and be the best looking person in the stadium? If you have, make sure you go to Simply Seattle, hit that QR code. Our good friends at Simply Seattle hooked us up and we look great. You see that QR code? Make sure you snap that, go check it out, get all the Husky gear you want, plus Mariners, Sonics, Storm, all that stuff, everything at Simply Seattle.
While you're at it, be sure to check out the Dubbed Up Discord community with over 2,700 members. It's the largest organized chat room for all things Washington Husky athletics. You want insider access? Our VIP membership unlocks exclusive chat rooms and rumors you won't find anywhere else. Hit the QR code on the screen and join the conversation today. Go Dawgs. Thank you for everything.
One last player that I wanted to call out too was Cam Fab. He seemed to be all over the place. And there was this one play where he was coming across he was taking the motion man and coming across the line, covering him like man-to-man coverage. And it happened to be a run and there was a hole and he broke right off of the dude, jammed the hole up, made the tackle, stopped it before it could be anything. And it's that senior, like that experience, that leadership that comes out where, he recognizes something, he knows to break off from what he's doing because he read it, knew what was happening, right, and stopped it. All right, fellas, is there anything else you guys want to cover about the defense? Because if not, I'm about to call this a pod.
Yeah, man, dude, this is I can't believe we missed the very first drive of the game from Eastern Michigan. They had an 11-play drive. They take it all the way to 4th and goal. Dude, if you guys want to watch Zoe and Bruner on that drive alone, we didn't mention them in this pod. I feel like they played too damn well for us to not mention them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just go watch them on that very first drive. Dude, they are absolutely dominant in stuffing them on fourth and goal.
Yeah. I was just going to say that too. Yeah. They cover for a lot of if you have some issues in the first couple quarters, they cover for a lot of that because they're everywhere, especially so. It's just been insane this year.
Bro, it's insane to see how much he was really good last year, but he's stepped his game up so much this year, and it's been awesome to watch. And like you said, it wasn't just that 4th down. They went for 3 4th downs against us, I think in the first half alone, and we stopped them all. Like it was almost disrespectful to see them treating us that way. Like, don't you know who we are? We went to the Natty last year. Like, get out of town, man. I don't want to hear that.
I think they were probably knowing that we were going to score points. They were like, we cannot settle for a field goal after this drive. We're inside the 5. We have to go.
Bro, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, we're going to call this a pod. The next episode we come out is going to be all about the Apple Cup. So make sure y'all tune in. Also, make sure you go join the Discord. Like I said, 2,700 strong. Hit the QR code down right beneath us, or there's a link in the bio. For Izzo, for Noah, I'm Mike Flaunt, and this is the Dubbed Up Podcast. Go Dawgs.